Okay, so we're just going to have a little look at this using our manipulative so that we can make sure we really think through what's going on when we are using column addition. It's quite easy to start to talk about individual digits. That's 4 and 2, which it is because it's in the ones, and then we will often say what's 8 and 4, and that's fine to do that so long as we understand that that is 8 tens and 4 tens, and that's really different, isn't it? If you look at this representation and we put 4 ones there and 2 ones there, and then I put my 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and here's my 8 tens, and here's my 4 tens. If I'm saying 4 here and I'm saying 4 here, that's okay, but I do need to make sure that I understand that. So when we're adding in the ones, we do always start with the ones and we work our way along up to the larger digits. So 4 and 2 is going to be 6, and here we've got 8 and 4. So when I move all of these tens down here like this, I'm going to show you this. Once I have 10 of those, I'm going to exchange it for 100. And keep, oops, forgot one, and keep the 2 tens here. So I've still got my 12 tens here, but now because I've got over 10 tens, I'm going to take my 10 tens and put the 100 there and end up with my 2 left over. And this is what we do when we are doing column addition. This is what's happening anytime we get 10 or more in one of these columns. We are then exchanging it and putting it in the correct column so that we don't end up with digits such as 12 in here, which wouldn't make sense. It would get really confusing. So that's the main concept of what we're doing today. Okay, so we're going to have another go now. You should have had a go of that one already, and I bet you did a great job. So let's just check it with our visuals. We've got 5 ones, and we've got no ones here because it's just tens, no ones at all. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Oops, bit fiddly. So I've got my 8 tens and my 3 tens. I'm going to start with my ones, and I've got my 5 and I'm adding to 0, and then I've got my 8 and I'm adding it to my 3. I know that 8 tens plus 3 tens is 11, so that should mean, you see how this matches. Oh, I managed to do it without it, just neaten it up. So you can see that that's worth 100, and I'm going to put my 100 blocks in here, and I'm going to have my 110. So my final answer is 100, and 10 and 5 makes 115. Okay, so we are back with this same 2 digits with 2 digits, sorry, but this time you're going to notice that we've got to exchange in one of these columns, as well as exchanging if it takes us over 100, which it might not do, who knows. So we have got our 5 ones, and we've got our 7 ones, and we've got our 3 tens, oops, and our 4 tens as well. Okay, so we're starting with the ones. Oops, I don't know what's happened here, knocked some of them off. So I've got my 5 and I'm adding it to my 7. So 5 add 7 is how many? Can you notice what we're going to have to do here? So we've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exchange 10 of those for my 10 stick. Now my 10 stick could either come down here, it can go up there, it can go wherever I want it, so long as I remember that I've now got an extra 10 in my 10s column. So when I was at school, they used to call this put the bottle on the doorstep. And it was very mysterious to me as to what anyone was actually talking about. I prefer always to put my extra 10 at the top so that I don't forget it down here. So now I'm going to carry on, and I've got my extra 10, which I'm going to add to my 3 10s and my 4 10s. That's going to give me 8 10s and 2 1s. So my answer is 82. So we had to regroup our 5 and our 7 by putting the extra 10 here, and then we could carry on the calculation. And this time I don't go over 100. As you can see, it's less than 100, so I don't need to regroup my 10s into my 100s. Right, so we've progressed now. Once we understand how to exchange in any of these columns, it can't get any harder. It doesn't matter how big the numbers get, how many digits we have to add. The reasoning behind it is exactly the same, which is the beauty of our number system. So I'm going to get my 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to get my 5. And this time I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 10s, 7 10s here, got 200s here, got 100 here. Okay, so I'm starting at the 1s. I've got my 9 and my 5, so we don't need to count these one by one. You can use your own mental strategies to work that out. So maybe thinking that this is 10 and then perhaps taking one off here, use that compensation strategy. So now I know that I'm going to have 14. What I can do is I can actually exchange that. Oh, I've run out of 10s. And I've got my extra 10 here that I've taken from the 1s and I've exchanged it, popped it up here. Remember, I like to put my 1. So this is why when we do the notation, we write the extra 1 up here, because it's now in the 10s. We've got that extra 10. Now we can go ahead and add this. So I've got my 1 plus my 6, which is 7. 7 plus my 7, which is 14. So now I've got 14 10s. I know that if I take 10 of those 10s away, well, I don't take them away. I exchange it for 100, which I'm now going to put at the top here. So this is where we put a number 1 in the hundreds, because we've got an extra 100. And now I can carry on adding all my hundreds together, and I've ended up with my 400s. And now my calculation is complete. I've got 444. What a beautiful number that is as well.